Guys, Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Today I want to talk to you about something that is so important. How to manage losing streaks, or what we call busting a trading slump. As you guys are getting started on your journey, or if even you've been on your journey, handling your losing streaks is going to be the number one maker or breaker on whether you can be in this business for a handful of months or a handful of decades. Even if you are a crappy trader, when the market is hot, you're going to have winning days and you're probably going to stack some chips regardless. But inevitably, your luck or the market starts to change and we all start to inevitably get into some losing streaks. So in today's video, what I want to talk to you guys about is how to manage these losing streaks, how to bust a trading slump. And hopefully by the end of it, you've taken a quick couple nuggets on what you can do when you're faced with some adversity and some trading losses. So let's get started. What do I first consider a trading slump? So for me personally, I'm very stringent with my risk parameters and how I manage my trading accounts. So for me, if I lose back-to-back days, I already have in the back of my mind that a potential slump could be in order. So on that third day, I'm lowering my risk profile by half. So what that means is if you have a 1% risk profile on your trading, which means if your stop losses hit, you lose 1% of your account, what you want to do is lower that to 0.5%. This is going to cut your losses in half per trade because you're trading bad anyways, right? Like you don't want to be stepping it up. A lot of people, when they lose, they start increasing their risk, trying to get their money back, but you can't do that when you're actually slumping because you're going to lose faster. So you want to take it down to 0.5%. So now what I'm going to be doing is if I lose that next day, so now I'm a loser on day 3. On day 4, I'm actually going to go to 0.25%. And now I'm going to trade this particular day. And what I'll keep doing is lowering my risk per trade on every day I lose till I turn that slump around and I start winning. Now on day 5, if I start winning, then I'll increase it back to what it was the previous day. Then on day 6, if I win, I'll increase it back to what it was 2 days ago. And I'll keep adding to it till I get back to my normal risk. What this does is it allows me to, number one, keep trading, but it makes it so that I'm not hurting myself. When we're new especially, taking big breaks from trading, sure it can clear your head, but frankly, you become out of tune with the markets. Like when I take a break from the markets, and I haven't done so in 15 years, but even when I leave for like an afternoon, I come back, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here, right? It's like somebody got in your car and messed around with the seat settings, right? And you're just sitting there and you don't even know how to get back to it. And so I don't like taking a day, 2 days off, if you don't have to. Look, if it's an emergency, do it. But it's better to just keep lowering your risk. Even if you're just risking like 20, 30 bucks per trade, at least you're in the game, you're getting the practice, and you can start building up your mojo. So the second part of this, okay, you've lowered your risk profile. Well, what else can you do? Well, this is what I personally do. When I'm in this kind of slump, at some point I have to put my foot down and say that all the setups and patterns that I know. So in my trading boot camp, I teach 18 different setups. I know it's a lot, but there's a little bit of overlap in some of them. So what I want to do is go into my data. So I use TraderView. It's traderview.com for my trade journaling. What I'm going to do is look at my last 30 days in my trade journal to see what patterns I'm actually trading well. What's the type of stock and what's the type of setup and what time of day is this particular setup occurring at, and I'm only going to focus on that. Because what I've noticed from all my tens of thousands of students over the years, when you're in a slump, it's usually because of one or two things. but oftentimes you actually have a pattern or two that you trade really well. You're not just completely unprofitable. It's not like you're losing on 100% of your trades. You're having a few things get you in trouble that's causing these slumps. So dig back through the data, find that nugget in that dirt that you're doing well. Something that's comfortable to you, your old faithful, your ride or die girl, right? That setup that you know you can find from your software and that you can nail when you see it, and only do that pattern. So for me, I usually am trading in the morning a lot better than the afternoon. So I will focus on some morning patterns that I've been just nailing for a long period of time. I'll usually cut out my midday and end of day trading, and I'll just sit there and hammer that thing day after day till that slump breaks and my profits have returned and my accounts are back into ATH or yearly highs. And that's going to be really, really important. You've got to be able to identify your old faithful, something that you've been doing for a long period of time that you can make money on. Because if you don't have one of those, you probably shouldn't even be trading live with size, because you don't have something you can rely on, right? You don't have that income producing trade. So that's going to be really important. Now, the third part of this, right? So after you find your old faithful, the third part of this is you're going to have to really look into your routines, all right? Am I waking up on time? Am I actually doing the preparation? I'll give you an example. When I go on a hot streak, right? And like a couple months ago, the market was red hot, everything was going on. You end up making so much money, or you get complacent that you get a little bit lackadaisical with your preparation, right? That eye of the tiger is gone. You're sitting there like, hey man, I just had some good days trading. I took some withdrawals. You know, I'm gonna treat myself to steak dinner, some drinks, whatever, right? Maybe you wake up a little bit late, or you know, you don't get to the computer on time. You know, all these little cracks start to happen, and they actually start to happen usually when you're making money. Towards the end, right? We start to lapse a little bit on our standards, right? It's like being drunk at the bar. You start to lapse a little bit on your standards once, right? You do it once, and guess what's happening? You're chasing something not ideal the second time, third time. Next thing you know, you're labeled as the chubby chaser, right? We don't even want to go into that stuff. So you got to really lock down on your routines, right? Do the stuff that you know works. So you got to wake up early, you got to prepare, right? And you got to really nail this thing, and then really check in. Are you sleeping, right? Are you drinking too much? Are you eating terrible food? Are you not exercising? Try to get all of that back into sync. You don't have to ever overdo all this health stuff, but you do have to be pragmatic. If your mind and body are in sync and you've slept and you've prepared, the odds of you making really drastic and bad decisions on an emotional basis are going to be actually pretty small. So go back to the basics. So in summary, what we want to be doing, we want to be lowering our risk day by day till the slump breaks. Number two, we want to look for that pattern that we know we can make money on, our ride or die girl. And then number three, we got to stop chubby chasing. We got to get back to the basics and increase our standards of routine, preparation, journaling, sleep, all of it. And if you can do that, your slump is gone. It's as good as dead, and you're going to be starting a new hot streak really soon. Guys, hopefully that helps. Smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications. I'm making videos all the time. You're not going to want to miss the next one. Take care.